Let's go ahead to Group C. 12:45 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Roma host Bayern Munich. The bottom two teams in Group C, Group of Life. Third place Bayern visiting fourth place Roma, if you can believe that. Roma on 4 points, Bayern on 5. Both teams looking up at PSG, who's on 6, and group leaders Ajax, who are on 7 points. Last time these two teams squared off, Matchday 1, they drew 2-2 in a match that Bayern had well in hand going into halftime. They were up 2-0. Damjanovic scored early off a free kick. Bayern scored again right before the half on a double doink own goal. Interestingly enough, start of the second half, Bayern had like 2 more absolutely golden chances to make this one 3-0, even 4-0 maybe, but they couldn't cash in on either try. Camila Cesar in goal had a brilliant save early in the second half on a Damjanovic point blanker to keep Roma alive in that match. A couple minutes later, Evelyn Viens, she scores off a breakaway, and then literally 2 seconds before the clock strikes 90, Manuela Giuliano, the captain, tickles the back of the net, knocking home her own rebound to equalize. Riveting game of football. Now again, this one's going down in Roma. That one was in Bayern. A couple matchups I'll be looking at in this one. Defenders Glodis Vigosdottir and Magdalena Eriksson for a Bayern side who have gone 34 days in between competitive football matches. How do they hold up against this Roma attack? That's what I'm wondering. An attack that at home, they might want to be out on the front foot early against this possibly rusty Bayern side. Not that this one needed any more intrigue, but going to spice it up a little here. If Roma lose, they are out. So my question to you, Bayern's defense, are they going to be able to match Roma's speed, their intensity, and their lavandino della cucina? For all my non-Italian speakers, that's the kitchen sink.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that education. I had to take a sip of the beer because, buddy, we were walking right into it. Rest versus rust. Let's go. No, in all seriousness, I don't think it's that great for Bayern that they have to go to Italia and play a desperate Roma side. A Roma side that, may I add, at the time of this recording, we're coming off the heels of it, a Roma side that just lost 2-0 to Inter Milan in their league play this Saturday morning. They're going to be pretty pissed off, but they're also going to be, they've had competitive football in the last few days. So I think Matchday 5 could turn the group of life into the group of death kind of quickly based on these scenarios that you play out. So I think Bayern, you don't love that you have that much rest, I don't think.
I mean, that's a long time, and our guy Cam Pope commented on it. He's definitely on the rust side of things. I think he was talking about Zink Bolton having some time off and, seeing how that would affect them on the field. And they looked a little off kilter early. Add pissed off to the mix. So it's not just intense, fast, backs against the wall. They're also going to be pissed about that 2-0 loss to Inter. So this one, absolute must watch for me. An A1 level, got to watch it live, Roma Bayern. Again, very intrigued to see what Roma look like, backs against the wall, just because they started out so great in the group stage. This group has flipped upside down 3 or 4 different times already, but it'd be a little bit of a shocker to see them knocked out Matchday 5 after such a hot start.
Very intrigued. This should be incredibly interesting. Now, you mentioned, like we talked about, like Roma could be pissed off. Let me just posit this. We talked about in one of our last episodes, the top 100 women's footballers list from The Guardian. What if Leah Schuler is super pissed off about being snubbed? What if she is Dino and Grant levels of pissed off about her not being on that list? What if Bayern is able to control the ball and play through the middle of the field? I mean, you mentioned Vigosdottir, then, she plays to Stanway, to Damjanovic, to Schuler. Do we think Linda Dahlman has had the last of her say in this tournament? So I didn't mean in my comments to like totally dismiss Bayern, because I think we could be leaning rust versus rest, but they got players over there. They obviously know if we win this match, I always kind of wonder this, do they have it in the back of their mind? Then we don't have to worry about Roma. Now we don't care about their results for the rest of this either, and we know they're a good side. So if we come in here and we're able to get the win, what kind of extra motivation does that add for them?
I mean, you also have the counter that Bayern's in third place. Sure, you can squeeze out a draw. A draw is going to put you level with PSG, who they might get a result against Ajax because PSG's at home, right? So if you're Bayern, you definitely are in big time need of a win. You're on 5 points after 4 matches.
Yep.
And they're going to be looking to get Roma up out the paint as quickly as possible. Leah Schuler, she might be upset. She didn't make the Guardian top 100, but Georgia Stanway made into the channel starting 11. So maybe she can kind of coach her up a little bit and throw an arm around her. We'll see. But Bayern's definitely loaded. And I went back and watched the first Bayern-Roma match. Bayern had to feel like they left that one on the table because they had big-time chances. Obviously, up 2-0. You hate to kind of give 2 away from a 2-0 lead. But it wasn't just that. That one could have easily gotten away from Roma, but shout out to them. They fought and scrapped. And I feel like that's the kind of performance we're going to see here in match day 5 from them.
We make some predictions, but I mean, hard to say that this one won't be kind of a banger. I'm trying not to get my hopes up for every single match, because all these matches I'm looking at, I'm like, well, this one should be great. This one should be great. And that's usually not how sports work. I think this one I would be genuinely surprised if it's not a really fun match to watch.
Same. Can't wait for this one. The other Group C, Group of Life, maybe Group of Death matchup. Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, the second place and surging PSG host group leader Ajax. PSG coming off a big-time 4-0 win over fifth-place Rennes in Division 1 Féminine. They scored in every way, any way you wanted in this match. Almeida had an exquisite flick on that turned into a Lika Martins goal. Welcome back, Lika Martins. Chewinga rocked the post with a thunderous strike. That one didn't go in, but Katoto, a few minutes later, gets a putback goal. Katoto again, then executes a super clean cutback, finds a streaking Lika Martins again, who grabs her second goal. Then Katoto notches her second assist in this one, this time finding captain Grace Gayoro to ice it. PSG outshot Rennes 25-3. Also had the shots on target advantage 11-0. So it's not just on offense that PSG is cooking. Their defense as well is smothering teams. Now, this Ajax side had a long layoff between December 20th, their last match, and today, January 20th, when they took on Excelsior, another impeccable team name.
Great name. Hell yeah.
Right alongside Viking is just a top tier brand name. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
So earlier in the day, they beat Excelsior 6-1. Sharita Spitza gets on the board. Lily Johannes, future USA women's team legend. Let's go. She got on the board in the 41st minute. And Ajax currently sit in second place in the Eredivisie, the Dutch league. In their matchday 1 affair, Regina van Eyck got off to that somewhat shaky start against PSG, but she settled in really nicely in that one. Ajax got on the board in that one when Lily Johannes dropped an absolute dime of a progressive pass. We love those here at the ITC. That carved up the PSG defense, starts the action that ultimately ends a few bounces later when Tini Hoekstra bangs in Ajax's first goal of the group stage. Ashley Veerden earns a PK right before halftime that Sharita Spitza slams home. Those two goals end up being the difference in the first match. PSG never really got going in that one. They had a couple chances, but just couldn't get into a rhythm. Van Eyck, like we mentioned, she was special in this match. Couple really spectacular stops and was a driving force in helping Ajax blank the Parisians. So what am I looking for in this match? Well, we know what Ajax is about. They're disciplined. They're opportunistic. If they catch you sleeping, they make you pay. Ajax also advances to the quarters with a win here. The margin in this group, so razor thin, they have to be looking at this matchup with PSG and thinking, let's gun it. Let's try to steal this one on the road and take the pressure cooker that will be match day 6 just completely off the table. But with that said, PSG is scorching hot right now. So I'm really just kind of curious, will their momentum carry forward and maybe see them go from very bottom of the group to tippity top of Group C? If they're able to pull out a third straight group stage win here, that is exactly what they'll be looking at. What are you looking for in this one? I mean, this one, 10 out of 10, absolute banger potential as well. I'm not sure how we're going to get through this week in one piece, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it feels like groups, out of 4 really interesting groups, it feels like groups C and D might be the most interesting, and I might even give the edge to Group C here. Every team is tight. You pointed out either last episode or the episode before, the goal differential for all 4 teams is 0. Like, everything about this group is fantastic. And I'm glad you bring up that match on match day 1 when PSG loses to Ajax 2-0. Remember we were talking about they could be in trouble. That was on November 15th. And something tells me that PSG has to feel like they're playing in a different universe than they were back then. Yeah. They have to be looking forward to this replay. Like, we are not 2 goals worse than Ajax, and we're definitely not going to be at home. PSG coming off a match played earlier this morning against Bordeaux. Just a stellar 8-1 victory for Paris Saint-Germain in that match. Gayoro gets on the board with a penalty. Marie Katoto scores a brace. Sandy Baltimore gets on there. And then, of course, for good measure, Chewinga has a brace herself. So they're just locked in. They've looked great for a month of games that they've been on here in this run. So yeah, I don't think it's crazy that they were sitting there 0-2, I think.
Yeah, they were 0-2. 0-2, no goals.
Yeah, and now they're just storming back. So I will say, I think you hit it perfectly that Ajax is going to be tough. They're going to be physical. They're going to be organized in defense. Van Eyck has moments where she is the greatest Dutch wall since the Afsluitdijk, which is a famous dam and causeway in northern Holland. That is an engineering marvel. I know I like to talk about my YouTube wormholes that I fall in. Of course, when I'm thinking about Regina Van Eyck, I'm like, what's a good wall in the Netherlands? There's some sick YouTube videos about this. It's a dam and a causeway. I mean, it's fucking badass. Anyway, I digress.
They're so efficient.
They are. That's exactly what it is. And so is this the match of the day? Is this the match of the round? I think it probably could be. It probably should be. Just couldn't be looking more forward to it.
If Ajax draws here, they obviously stay at the top of the group. Bayern, if they won, Bayern and Ajax will both be on 8, and then PSG back down outside of the one of the qualifying spots. This group is just freaking wild.
Yeah.
If Roma pulls out a win here, they might be in the driver's seat for that second spot.
Yeah.
And again, all these teams play each other. This group has definitely been the group that keeps on giving. But like you mentioned, PSG is just on an absolute heater. Great call on the fact that this doesn't look like the same team. Their confidence is way, way, way up. This PSG team looks like a side that could realistically make a run to the semifinals, maybe sneak into the final. You know, like if they get really hot, they've got just as much talent. Like if their talent all puts in a solid 90 minutes, they're going to be really, really tough to beat. So I'm really looking forward to this one. My only prediction, I want to kind of shy away from prediction on the show. My only prediction is that Group C is going to look a lot different after Matchday 5 and then again after Matchday 6. And we've got no fucking clue who's going to survive this group, but we'll be here for it.
That's a great call. And I think you really nailed it about Lika Martens. Pretty good player to bring back into the side. Going to be a little crowded with Chewinga, Baltimore, and Katoto up there, but that's a good problem to have. So what kind of say might she have in these last 2 matches? And I think you nailed it too. Anybody who's trying to handicap this group, good luck.
Go put your money somewhere else. Yeah. Buy some Bitcoin or something. Let's go to Group D.